have a theory on Candyman where I personally believe that Candyman is a Cenobite. I believe Candyman is a Cenobite. From the source material, I personally believe that Candyman is a Cenobite. Because there are very, very, very stark differences between Candyman in the movies and the source material. And the reason, if you know the source material, which is called The Forbidden by Clive Barker, Candyman is more so recluse. Like, he's in an area, he doesn't want anyone saying his name. He actually punishes one of the residents of the apartments, like complex and everything that he's in. He punishes one of the residents there for even saying his name and cutting out his tongue. And the reason he's called Candyman isn't the Tony Todd, Daniel Robitaille reason. Like, he was not like fucking someone that was lynched or anything like that. The reason they call him Candyman is because in the apartment complex that he's in, the floor is littered with candy wrappers. So when you're walking over the floor and everything, you can hear the wrappers crunching under your feet and everything. Now, the story of The Forbidden is that Candyman's been in here. He's basically cultivated a cult and everything in his name. Definitely supernatural. If you look at the artist's renditions of what Candyman is supposed to look like, he's very much clad in like leather, has the hook for a hand and everything, and looks much closer to the Hellraiser Cenobites. The first one specifically that Clive Barker did, because Clive Barker made that movie. Candyman's illustrated like looks closer to that than anything. So it makes you think, was Candyman possibly a part of the Order of the Gash and somehow got out and is now hiding out like Frank did from the Cenobites? And that's why he doesn't want anyone saying his name at all. Like, think of the first Hellraiser, how they called Frank. They needed him to confess himself. So maybe if you apply that to the Forbidden Candyman, maybe there's something there. That's why Candyman's hiding. Maybe. And if he does get found, he's building a cult, very similar to the Hell Priest, how they have their cult of Cenobites and everything. Albeit these are humans that are there, but they're all very devoted to Candyman. I think as far as like overall, like Candyman, I would say Candyman is a Cenobite. I would be on board with that, at least from the source material. Obviously the movies are something different, although you could theoretically tie in Candyman in the films to Hellraiser, because both use objects to be summoned. The only difference is the Cenobites use a specific object to be summoned, while Candyman can be summoned through any mirror. So maybe you could theoretically bring in that whole concept of Candyman escaping the Cenobites, but in spiritual form, and building a cult from what we see in the last film. Now that we know that there are other people that have gone by the moniker, the mantle of Candyman, maybe that's what Daniel Robitaille is doing, building a supernatural cult to surround himself. So if the Cenobites ever did find him for like escaping and everything, and they want to drag him back, they have to go through all of these other Candymen now, which could end up triggering a supernatural war between fucking Daniel Robitaille's cult and the Order of the Gash. That would be fucking interesting. I'd fucking be down for that. I'd definitely be down for that. Of course, you would have to scale up Candyman's powers, I think. And that's also the difference in like the movies and everything, where the movies, Candyman wants you to know about him. He wants you to spread the word of Candyman, so that way people believe in him, because that's what gives him his power. The source material is the opposite. He doesn't want anyone knowing he exists. So maybe you would have to kind of work with that, because that's a very big difference in order to bring it all together to a degree. But I would be down.